Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Great to be back.
Today, we're plunging headfirst into something pretty critical for many people, the job interview.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those high-stakes communication moments, isn't it?
Totally. Where every word, every little nuance can genuinely shape your future. And we're not just talking basic English skills here. We're digging into, well, how to find that confidence, project professionalism.
And really achieve that fluency when it counts the most.
Exactly. It's more than just language, it's strategy. A masterclass in, well, human connection and professional presentation, really.
That's a great way to put it.
So our mission today, cracking the code of interview success. We've got this fantastic source, a really insightful conversation on interview strategies, and we're going to unpack it for you.
Lots of rich lessons in there.
Definitely. We'll be pulling out those crucial insights, practical examples, those powerful phrases that can give you a real edge.
Kind of a shortcut, maybe?
Yeah, think of it like that, a shortcut to sounding like you've been acing interviews for years. Even if it's your first one, we'll show you how to handle those tough questions.
Not just with the right words,
but with the right mindset. That's key.
And what's really fascinating about the material we're looking at today is, like you said, it goes way beyond just vocabulary lists or grammar rules.
Yeah.
It really dives into strategic communication.
Yeah.
And importantly, the psychological impact you create from the second you start talking.
Psychological impact. Tell me more about that.
Well, think about it. A job interview isn't just a checklist of your technical skills, is it?
No, definitely not.
It's a whole assessment of how you present those skills, how clearly you can actually articulate your value, and maybe most crucially, how well you pick up on the interviewer's unspoken needs and expectations.
The unspoken stuff. That's tricky.
It can be.
Right.
But your performance, how you speak, how you carry yourself, it becomes this direct reflection of your preparation and the intentional choices you make with language.
Okay, so preparation is key, not just winging it.
Absolutely not. So today, we're not just uncovering what to say, so we'll cover that, but maybe more importantly, why certain approaches just work so well.
Gotcha, the why behind the what.
Precisely. We'll look at how every word, every phrase you choose, even the subtle things like your tone, can be a deliberate choice. A choice that shapes how the interviewer sees you.
Moving you from just like a name on a resume
to someone they see as a potentially invaluable asset. It's about making that leap.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's dive in. Where do we start?
Well, let's kick things off with a really practical example, a kind of blueprint for making that critical first impression.
That's good.
Our source uses this interview simulation. It gives us a direct look at how an effective conversation might unfold.
Okay, set the scene for us.
Right. So imagine Sarah Khan. She's a recent computer science graduate stepping into an interview situation.
Okay, Sarah Khan, fresh graduate. Got it.
And the interviewer starts with that classic opener, the one almost everyone expects.
Let me guess. Tell me about yourself.
You got it. Can you tell me a little about yourself?
The classic. So how does Sarah handle it?
Her opening response is, well, it's kind of a masterclass in being concise and making an immediate impact. She says, and I'm quoting directly here, "Thank you. My name is Sarah Khan. I'm a recent graduate in computer science from Dhaka University. I'm passionate about technology and problem solving. And during my internship, I worked on a mobile app project that helped local businesses manage online orders."
Okay, short, sweet, and packed with info. Let's break that down.
Absolutely. Let's start right at the beginning, that immediate thank you.
Yeah, I noticed that. Simple, but effective.
Incredibly effective. It's a small detail, right? But it sets this instant tone of gratitude, politeness.
Respectful.
Exactly. It's more than just manners. It signals respect for their time, genuine appreciation for the opportunity. It kind of disarms any potential awkwardness right away.
Creates a positive vibe from the get-go.
Precisely. Before she even talks about her qualifications, she's made a positive connection. It shows she values the interaction. She's professional.
That's a really smart, subtle move. Okay, what comes next?
So right after the thank you, she moves quickly, efficiently, to the core facts. Her name, recent grad status, university.
Oh, rambling.
Not at all. Concise, relevant, directly answering the question with the info needed in a professional setting. But then, here's where it gets really strategic and, frankly, powerful.
Okay.
I'm passionate about technology and problem solving.
The passion statement. Why is that so important?
Well, it's not just saying I'm enthusiastic. It's signaling intrinsic motivation.
Okay, intrinsic motivation. Explain that a bit more.
Think about it from the employer's perspective. They don't just want someone with the skills on paper. They want someone with genuine drive, right?
Yeah, someone who actually cares.
Exactly. Passion often translates into more engagement, more resilience when things get tough, a more proactive approach. It suggests she's not just there for the paycheck.
She's invested in the actual work.
Right. Curious, eager to contribute. And that kind of internal motivation, it's way more sustainable, way more desirable for an employer than just relying on, pay rises or bonuses.
So why do employers want to see that passion specifically?
Because passionate employees are, they're more likely to innovate, aren't they? To solve problems without waiting to be told, to put in that extra creativity and energy because the work itself is rewarding.
It's the difference between just doing the job and really owning it.
Perfectly put. It tells the interviewer she's not just qualified, she genuinely cares about the work.
Yeah.
That's a massive differentiator, especially when it's competitive.
Huge. Okay, so passion is key. What does she follow that with?
She follows it immediately with concrete action, evidence. During my internship, I worked on a mobile app project that helped local businesses manage online orders.
Ah, the proof. Show, don't just tell.
Exactly that principle.
Yeah.
She's not just claiming skills, she's providing a brief, specific, action-oriented example. And this is where, implicitly, she's using the STAR method.
Right, you mentioned STAR. Remind us what that stands for.
Sure. It's a really useful technique for structuring answers, especially for behavioral questions. It ensures you tell a complete story. STAR.
Okay.
Situation. Set the scene. Here, it's during my internship.
Got it.
Task. What was the goal? Implicitly building that mobile app for businesses.
Right.
Action. What you specifically did, I worked on. Helped manage.
Okay, the I part.
Crucial. And result. What was the outcome?
Yeah.
Helped local businesses manage online orders. A tangible benefit.
So even in that short opening, she hit all those points.
Pretty much, yeah. She's showing real-world application, tangible evidence of her skills. So if you connect that whole first answer together,
Yeah.
it paints a picture of someone who's not just qualified, but also enthusiastic, driven, and capable of delivering actual results. It immediately lifts her beyond just another resume.
Wow, that's a lot packed into one answer. Seriously strategic. Okay, moving on. What was the next question the interviewer asked?
Another very common one, equally critical.
Yeah.
What are your strengths?
Ah, the strengths question. How did Sarah handle that?
Again, very strategically, she says, I'd say my biggest strength is communication. I enjoy working in teams and explaining technical ideas in simple terms. I'm also very organized, which helps me manage deadlines efficiently.
Okay, communication, teamwork, organization. Good choices.
They are, but notice she doesn't just list them. She picks universally valued skills and then gives a brief illustrative example for each. Makes them concrete.
Right. Let's look at communication first.
Okay, communication is almost always a top skill, right? Doesn't matter the industry.
True.
But she adds that specific nuance, explaining technical ideas in simple terms.
Ah, that's very specific, especially for computer science.
Exactly. Technical experts often need to translate complex stuff for non-techie people, clients, managers, other teams.
Yeah, that's a common bottleneck.
So by highlighting this, she's immediately signaling her ability to bridge those communication gaps, make things clear, help everyone collaborate better. It's not just, I can talk. It's, I make complex things understandable.
That's incredibly valuable. Elevates it beyond just a basic skill.
Totally. Then she mentions working in teams. Demonstrates that collaborative spirit, which is essential pretty much everywhere these days.
Shows she can integrate well.
Right. And finally, organization. But she links it directly to a practical outcome, managing deadlines efficiently.
Addresses a real workplace need, reliability.
Exactly. It's not vague. It speaks directly to productivity, handling tasks, delivering on time. It answers the employer's need for someone dependable.
So these aren't just random strengths she pulled out of thin air.
Not at all. They seem carefully chosen to align with what companies generally look for. It shows she understands workplace dynamics, what actually adds value. She's basically saying, my strengths fit exactly what you need for this role and will benefit your operations.
She's building a really strong case. Okay, established skills, passion, teamwork, organization. What's next?
Motivation. Right. Yeah, the big one. Why do you want to work with our company? This is where a lot of candidates can fall flat with generic answers.
Your company is great. Yeah, doesn't cut it.
Exactly. But Sarah, again, she nails it by showing genuine research and alignment. Her response. I've followed your company's work for a while, especially your focus on innovation and AI. I admire how you support young professionals to grow, and I believe this role is a great match for my skills and interests.
Okay, multi-layered. Let's unpack that. The first part.
I've followed your company's work for a while, especially your focus on innovation and AI.
Brilliant. It's not generic, it's specific. AI innovation.
Shows she's actually looked into them.
Precisely. Proves genuine interest, proper preparation. It signals she's serious about this opportunity, not just any job. It makes the interviewer feel seen, too, knowing their work is noticed.
It's like saying, I picked you for a reason.
Exactly that feeling. Then, the crucial part, values alignment. I admire how you support young professionals to grow.
So she's looked beyond the product into the culture.
Yes, she's considered the company culture, their investment in people. She's saying her own value, wanting growth, aligns with theirs. Hints at a good cultural fit, maybe wanting to stay long-term.
That's the implication. She's not just looking for a job. She's looking for a place to build a career, and she sees that potential here based on their stated values. That's powerful. Signals loyalty.
Okay, and the last piece of that answer.
The direct connection. I believe this role is a great match for my skills and interests. This just ties it all together. She's explicitly connecting her profile to their needs, making it clear she sees herself fitting perfectly.
She understands the role and how she fits.
Right. And this brings up an interesting point. How do you show research without just, reading back the About Us page?
Yeah, good question.
Sarah does it by connecting the company's specifics, their AI work, their support for growth, to her personal aspirations and skills. It feels personal, not just factual. That makes it way more convincing.
It's clear she's thought deeply about this specific job at this specific company. Huge plus. Okay, last big question from the simulation. The 5-year plan question.
Ah, yes. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Always a bit of a minefield.
Can definitely trip people up. How does Sarah answer?
With, again, grace and strategic foresight. She says, in 5 years, I see myself leading a team of developers, contributing to impactful projects, and continuing to grow my skills through new challenges.
Okay, leadership, impact, growth. Let's break down the strategy here.
Okay, first part, leading a team of developers shows clear ambition for leadership, right?
Yep.
But it's framed within professional growth, likely within this company. It's not some wild, unrelated dream. It signals she wants more responsibility, wants to contribute at a higher level. That's positive for employers looking for future leaders. Suggests vision, commitment.
No, ambitious, but grounded and relevant to them.
Exactly. Then, contributing to impactful projects. Notice the shift. It's not just about her own game.
Right, it's about the company's success, too.
Precisely. Shows a team-oriented mindset, a desire to make a real difference, aligning her goals with theirs. She wants the company to succeed.
And the last part, continuous learning.
Continuing to grow my skills through new challenges. Crucial. Signals adaptability, continuous learning, long-term commitment to development. In tech especially, skills need updating constantly, right?
Absolutely. Things change fast.
So this reassures the interviewer she won't get stagnant. She'll actively seek to improve. And importantly, she avoids the common pitfalls.
Like saying you want to leave or having totally unrealistic goals.
Exactly. She doesn't mention starting her own company or wanting the CEO's job in 5 years. From the interviewer's view, this answer paints a picture of someone dedicated, ambitious, adaptable, who sees a future with them.
Someone loyal, engaged for the long haul.
Right. Someone who's thought maturely about her career path in a way that fits with the company.
Okay, so let's recap that simulation.
Yeah.
Sarah's answers weren't just, grammatically correct English.
Far from it.
They were deeply strategic, showed preparation, genuine interest, self-awareness, realistic ambition.
And a clear grasp of what employers actually want. It wasn't about reciting lines.
No, it was about understanding the strategy behind the answers. A performance, maybe, but an authentic and well-thought-out one.
Absolutely. It sets a great foundation for understanding the what of good interviewing.
Okay, that simulation really showed us the what, the content that makes for successful answers. But now, let's shift focus a bit to the how, the actual linguistic tools.
Right, moving from the message to the medium.
Exactly. Our source has this great vocabulary breakdown section, highlighting some really powerful phrases. Let's dig into those.
Sounds good. Let's deep dive into why these specific phrases work so well. What makes them resonate?
Okay, first one up. I'm passionate about. We touched on this with Sarah, but let's explore it more. Why is passion such a powerful word here?
Well, like we said, it goes beyond just enthusiasm. It signals that genuine internal drive. Employers want people who are inherently motivated, right? Who will take initiative, find solutions because they care.
Not just because they're told to.
Exactly. Passion suggests you're invested, you enjoy the work itself. And that usually leads to higher quality work, more creativity, better resilience when things get tough. It's that intrinsic motivation, again, more sustainable, more valuable than just external rewards.
So saying you're passionate signals you're likely to be more engaged, innovative, maybe even stick around longer.
That's often the perception, yes. It suggests a deeper personal investment in the work and the field.
Okay, makes sense. Next phrase. During my internship. Or similar phrases like, in my previous project. Why is grounding claims and experience so vital?
Because specific examples are always more impactful than general statements. It's the show, don't tell principle again.
Right.
Anyone can say, I'm a great problem solver. It's just a claim.
Easy to say, harder to prove.
Exactly. But if you say, during my internship, we faced this specific problem, and I did this specific thing, which led to this specific positive result.
That's concrete, believable, it's memorable.
Totally. It gives tangible evidence of your skills in action. It makes your capabilities credible. That's why the STAR method is so effective. It forces you to provide that proof through a story.
Even if it wasn't a formal internship, like a university project.
Absolutely. Academic projects, volunteer work, significant personal projects.
Yeah.
Anything where you can show the situation, your action, and a result. The key is specificity and evidence.
Provide the proof. Got it. Next up, my biggest strength is, you mentioned the confidence this conveys.
Yes, the psychological impact here is significant. Stating your strength clearly, directly, without hesitation, it projects self-assurance. You know your value.
As opposed to sounding hesitant, like, I guess maybe I'm okay at.
Right. That kind of tentative language really undermines you, suggests you're not even sure about your own abilities. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's clarity. It builds trust. It shows you've done the self-assessment and you own your skills.
Own your skills, I like that. Okay, final phrase in this section. I believe this role is a great match. Why is this better than just saying, I want the job?
Because it shows you've done the thinking. It demonstrates research and alignment. You're not just saying you're interested. You're showing you understand their needs, the role specifics, and how you fit.
So it confirms you've done your homework.
Yes, and that you see the synergy. You've considered the job description, the company, and you genuinely see yourself contributing effectively there. It signals thoughtful consideration, serious intent. It's like saying, I get it, I understand what you need, and I fit.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a much more informed statement.
Definitely. And the source provides a great practice tip here. Use strong, positive verbs and show specific examples.
Which ties it all together.
Exactly. It's not just about sounding good. It forces you to think effectively about your past actions and results and articulate your value clearly. It makes you translate skills into impact.
Which brings up a really important question for you listening. How do you make these phrases sound natural, not like you've just memorized them?
Great question. The key isn't memorization. It's understanding the principle behind each phrase. Why does I'm passionate work? Why does giving examples matter? Once you get the why, you can adapt the phrase to your own experiences, your own voice.
So internalize the strategy, then practice applying it authentically.
That's the goal. Mastery through mindful application, not just rote learning.
Oh, great point. It needs to feel genuine. Now let's shift gears slightly. We've talked about what to say, the words themselves, but delivery's huge, right?
But absolutely critical, often overlooked.
Our source even has a section on pronunciation and tone with a repeat after me exercise. That tells you how important they think it is.
And they're right. How you deliver the words can sometimes communicate even more than the words themselves. Your tone conveys confidence, sincerity, professionalism.
Yeah.
It's the emotional subtext.
It colors the whole message.
Profoundly influences perception. Let's look at the phrases the source suggests practicing for tone.
Okay.
First, thank you for the opportunity. What's the tone here?
Gratitude. Respect.
Exactly. Genuine gratitude. Deep respect. Not just throwing it away as a formality. A warm, sincere tone reinforces that positive first impression. Makes you seem appreciative, professional.
Whereas saying it flatly just loses the impact.
Completely. Warmth is key. Next, I believe my skills align with the company's vision.
Tone here needs to be confident, assured.
Conviction. Alignment. You're making a strong statement about your fit, so your voice needs to convey certainty, not doubt, not boastful, but assured. Like, I've thought about this, I see the connection, I'm confident.
Okay, makes sense. And the last one, in 5 years, I see myself leading a team.
Tone should be ambitious confidence, clear vision. You're talking about your future goals.
So optimistic, determined, like you're actively working towards it.
Yes, not just a vague wish. It should sound like a plan, a purpose. A hesitant tone here would really undermine the message.
So the feeling behind the words is just as important as the words.
At least as important, often more so. And the source gives some fundamental advice here. Speak slowly and clearly. Don't rush. It's okay to pause when you need to think.
That's huge. People feel pressure to fill silence.
Right, but speaking slowly shows thoughtfulness, control. It lets you organize your thoughts, lets the listener process. Rushing makes you sound nervous, unprepared.
And pauses. People worry about pauses.
But a thoughtful pause is powerful. It shows you're considering the question carefully, not just scrambling. It protects poise, consideration, not confusion, much better than sometimes.
So taking a moment to think is actually a sign of strength.
It absolutely can be. And of course, basic clarity, clear articulation is essential so you're understood properly. No ambiguity.
It also just makes you seem more confident, being in control of your pace.
Exactly. You're owning the space, owning your delivery. What's fascinating is how much tone communicates beyond the words. Confidence, sincerity, professionalism, it's all in the voice. Perfect words with flat tone. Impact lost. Good words with a confident, sincere tone. Much stronger impression.
It's about the whole package, creating that overall impression of competence and reliability.
That's exactly an impression that lasts.
Okay, with those linguistic tools, vocabulary, tone, pacing, let's move into segment 3. This feels like a real practical toolkit for you listening. It's common questions and how to answer them.
Yeah, tackling some of those questions that often cause anxiety.
Definitely. Let's start with a big one. Very direct. Why should we hire you?
The ultimate pitch moment, right, where you concisely state your value proposition.
So what's the recommended approach here?
Our source suggests, because I'm a fast learner, I bring a positive attitude, and I'm committed to growing with the company.
Okay, fast learner, positive attitude, commitment to growth. Why is that combo so effective?
It addresses multiple underlying employer concerns brilliantly. Let's take them one by one. I'm a fast learner.
What need does that address?
Adaptability. Quick ramp-up time. In today's world, things change fast, right? Employers desperately want people who can pick things up quickly, become productive without endless training.
Saves them time and resources. Makes you seem efficient.
Exactly. It implies you're resourceful, you'll become an asset quickly. Basically saying, training me won't be a huge burden.
That's very reassuring for a hiring manager. Okay, next. I bring a positive attitude.
This hits on soft skills and cultural fit. Hugely important.
Why is attitude so critical?
Because it has this ripple effect. Positivity boosts collaboration, resilience, productivity. Nobody wants to work with a constantly negative person, right?
Definitely not. Drags the whole team down.
So a positive attitude signals you'll likely be a good team player, handle stress well, contribute constructively, foster a good work environment. It impacts morale, output, everything. For many teams, it's non-negotiable.
So it's about the team dynamic as much as individual skill.
Absolutely. And the final part, I'm committed to growing with the company.
This sounds forward-looking.
It is. Signals long-term potential, investment in their future. Employers want stability, a return on their hiring investment.
They don't want someone who will leave in 6 months.
Right. This phrase shows you envision a future there, implying loyalty, desire for growth within their organization. You're not just looking for a stepping stone. You want to build a career there.
So putting it all together.
That answer tackles the employer's core needs. Someone who can contribute quickly, fast learner, enhance the team environment, positive attitude, and stick around to become a long-term asset, committed to growth. It's holistic, addresses their business needs.
It covers the now, the team culture, and the future potential. Very comprehensive. Okay, let's switch to a behavioral question. Tell me about a challenge you faced. This one can feel tricky.
It's designed to gauge your problem-solving, resilience, how you handle pressure. The recommended answer is short and sweet. During my internship, we had a tight deadline. I helped the team stay focused, and we delivered the project early.
Okay, concise. How does that work strategically?
It follows that problem-solution framework, hitting the key star elements implicitly. Challenge, tight deadline, sets the stakes. Action, I helped the team stay focused. Notice the we and help.
Yeah, emphasizes teamwork, not just I save the day.
Exactly. Shows collaboration, initiative within the group, vital, and the result. We delivered the project early. Positive outcome.
Turns the challenge into a success story.
Right. emphasizes success, efficiency, problem solving. It quickly shows resilience, teamwork, and positive results without dwelling on the negative or blaming anyone. That's key.
Avoids those common pitfalls. Very smart. Okay, now for the one everyone dreads. What's your greatest weakness?
Ah, yes. The ultimate test of self-awareness and strategic thinking.
It feels like a trap.
You can feel that way, but it's really an opportunity to show maturity and a growth mindset. It's not about confessing something awful.
So what's the recommended answer strategy here?
The source suggests something like, sometimes I over-prepare, but I'm learning to balance quality and speed.
Over-prepare. That sounds like a strength disguised as a weakness.
It is, to an extent. Over-preparing implies thoroughness, commitment to quality good things, right?
Yeah, sounds positive.
But acknowledging it as over-preparing hints it could sometimes lead to inefficiency, maybe being too slow. It suggests an area for development.
Okay, so it's a good weakness, but acknowledged as potentially problematic.
But the crucial part, the real strategic genius, is the second half. But I'm learning to balance quality and speed.
The I'm working on it part.
Yes. This is critical. It shows profound self-awareness. You've reflected on it, you understand the implications, and most importantly, you're actively doing something about it.
Shows you're coachable, committed to improving.
Exactly. That proactive approach to development is gold to employers. It tells them you're reflective, mature, capable of self-improvement.
That makes so much sense. It's much better than saying, I have no weaknesses.
Which sounds naive and lacks self-awareness.
Or listing a genuinely damaging flaw like, I hate deadlines.
Right. Avoid those. The source sums it up perfectly. Honesty plus self-awareness, impressive answers.
Why does that equation work so well here?
Because it builds trust instantly. It shows you're reflective, you understand yourself, and you have the maturity to address areas for growth. It turns a potential negative into a positive showcase of your potential and emotional intelligence.
That's a really high-level way to handle it, turning vulnerability into a strength. Okay, fantastic. Let's move to the final segment. Segment 4. The polishing touches bonus phrases for fluency and leaving a strong impression.
Yeah, these are like the finishing touches, the things that can really elevate your performance and make you stick in the interviewer's mind.
Subtle but powerful additions.
Exactly. They're strategic closing moves, solidifying your position, reinforcing your suitability, not just empty pleasantries.
Okay, let's look at them. First one. I'm confident that my experience makes me a strong candidate. When would you use this?
It's a concise, assertive summary. Good after you've detailed your experience or maybe near the end of the interview to reinforce your overall fit.
A final punchline stating your belief in yourself.
Right. Confident, not arrogant. A self-endorsement that feels earned because you've already laid out the evidence. Wraps things up with conviction.
Okay. Clear and direct. Next. I've researched your company and really admire your work culture. We talked about research, but why mention culture specifically?
It reiterates your diligence, but also highlights you've thought about the environment, the values, the team dynamic, shows you're looking beyond just the tasks.
Demonstrates interest in being part of their specific team.
Exactly. Builds rapport. Shows you value cultural fit, suggesting you're looking for a harmonious place to work long-term.
Nice touch. Okay, how about, I look forward to contributing and learning more in this role.
This one's great because it expresses forward-looking enthusiasm and mutual benefit.
Mutual benefit, how so?
It combines your desire to be valuable, contributing, with your commitment to growth, learning more. You're ready to add value now, and you're eager to develop further within the company.
Signals a long-term mindset again. Proactive development.
Precisely. You want to grow with them. And finally, the simple but crucial. I appreciate your time and consideration.
Just basic politeness.
It seems basic, but it's profoundly important. Courtesy is paramount right to the very end. It reinforces your professionalism, respect, gratitude.
Leaves that final, positive, respectful impression.
Which can be incredibly impactful. It echoes the politeness you started with, bringing it full circle. Leaves them feeling good about the interaction.
Okay, so these bonus phrases are best used near the beginning or end.
That's the advice, yeah, to open strong and close strong. But the key question is, how do you weave them in naturally, not just recite them?
Yeah, don't want it to sound scripted.
The answer is active listening. Be responsive. Tailor them. If the interviewer mentions something specific about their culture, that's your natural opening to say you admire their work culture and mention that specific point.
So adapt them to the actual conversation flow.
Exactly. Be present. Weave them in authentically. When used thoughtfully, they really help you close strong, reinforcing your best qualities and leaving that compelling final impression, the perfect finishing touch.
Wow, what an incredible journey through interview communication today. We really covered a lot.
We certainly did. From those crucial first impressions with Sarah's simulation,
To breaking down that powerful vocabulary, the importance of tone and pronunciation,
and digging into strategies for those really common, sometimes tricky questions.
plus those bonus phrases for extra polish at the end, it feels like a comprehensive look.
And if there's one single message, one core takeaway from all of this,
What would it be?
confidence comes with practice. It really does. It's not something most people are just born with, especially in high-stakes situations like interviews.
It's a skill you build.
Exactly. The more you simulate interviews seriously, grab a friend, use a mirror, record yourself, the better you get. Each time builds that muscle memory.
Makes it easier to articulate your value without getting flustered. And this deep dive today was really all about giving you, our listener, those tools. The goal is for you to feel prepared, articulate.
To walk into that room not just with answers memorized, but with a real understanding of the strategy, the psychology.
And the linguistic tools to genuinely shine, transforming those nerves into confident self-expression.
Well said. And maybe that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to ponder after we finish up here.
Okay, always like a final provocative thought. Lay it on us.
Beyond just job interviews, think about this. How might these principles we've discussed, active listening, genuine curiosity, clearly articulating your value based on the other person's needs, how might those translate into other parts of your life?
Interesting. So the skills aren't just for interviews.
Consider this. How does being a good interviewee actually make you a better communicator overall? Think about using clear articulation, self-awareness, connecting your value to someone else's needs.
In team meetings, presentations, even personal relationships.
Exactly. How can understanding these dynamics enrich all your communication well beyond just trying to land that next job? Something to reflect on.